Welcome to a special edition of the Taproom Exclusive. I'm Dean Zarbaugh. I'm sitting across from Howard Ross at the Avon Brewing Company right now. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. You are here. We're going to be promoting the Brewfest Waterfront District.
Correct.
Tell the people about that. It's here. It's in Lorain.
It's in Lorain. This is actually our 5th year anniversary for the event.
Well, congratulations on
that. Thank you. Started way back in 2014. There was a couple guys in Lorain that really believed in Lorain and wanted to come up with an event that would bring people downtown Lorain. And at the time, the brewery that I'm a part of, Franklin Brewing Company, was the only brewer out in Lorain County. So that's how they found us, just by doing an internet search. And they invited us out to dinner, and we started talking about this event. And at the end of the day, we were only brewing a barrel and a half at a time. And we thought it'd be really cool to do this, but we're way too small to handle an event ourselves. Right. So the more we talked and the more we realized that people going to these events want typically several brewers.
Right.
And we had just started doing events ourselves, so we had a little bit of knowledge of, what doing a beer event consisted of. So end of the day, that very first year in 2014, we ended up pulling in 10 brewers. It's really just an experiment. Can we do it? Will it work? Will people come out? Mm-hmm. And we did it on 7th Street, right off of Broadway downtown. Just a tiny little street fair just to see, will it work as an experiment? And, we're glad to say that it did work. We've packed them in there. We had 300-some people in this little area, 10 brewers, like I said, a couple of food trucks and some live bands, and just kind of kept it simple because, again, it was our first year.
Yeah, you don't want to go too far too quick.
Right, and it was successful, and a lot of people had some negative things to say, drunk people on the streets, this, that, and the other, but
there's going to be that.
Once they realize that the craft beer demographic is not the $5, bucket of beers kind of
we like to taste it.
Right, we like taste, and we know we're going to pay $5, $6, $7 for a nice beer, so it's a demographic that Lorain wants and needs to come downtown. Again, just to kind of showcase the city and the little area. A lot of people have misconceptions about Lorain, and we wanted to show them that, it needs help, it needs work. It was a steel town that had its issues when the mills closed, and like any town would. Right. So we just wanted to show people that it's not the cesspool that they thought it was.
Right. And that, like, breweries are a good thing to do that. There's, I was reading an article. I wish I could remember the source. I want to say like New York Times or something like that. It was a bigger piece about breweries that come into areas like, let's say, Lorain, and really help revitalize cities like that. And it's great to see someone taking the initiative to do that for Lorain County and Lorain specifically.
Right. One of the promotional tools that we used a few years back was there was this documentary on brewing companies. I forget the name of it, it escapes me, but there's a Braddock, Pennsylvania, very similar to Lorain, a steel town, went down the tubes from the steel industry, and these guys, Gentleman Brewing Company opened up, and, businesses started sprouting up around that, and it helped revitalize that area, so, similar sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And so now we're 5 years later with the Brewfest and all that. What do you guys kind of have planned for this year? And it's August 11th. I want to get that
Saturday, August 11th. It's always been the second week in August, so it's kind of a tradition at this point, and we'll hopefully never have to move that. It's just people are just used to that weekend, and we've got a lot of repeat customers that come out and vendors and brewers and whatnot. But the goal has always been to grow this thing as large as we can. And I think you affect change in an area by bringing as many people as you can into that area. So it's always been, and it was never meant to be just 300 people.
Right.
300 people coming into an area really isn't going to do anything. So the goal is just to continue to grow this thing till it gets to 5, 10, 15,000 people. And, 5 years in, we're doing well. I mean, we'll have 50-some brewers this year.
Oh, wow.
We had 46 last year.
Really growing from the original 10.
We did a couple events on the street and then thought it's getting a little bit difficult logistically to set this up on the street and renting tents and shutting down the street. So, for people that aren't familiar with the area, just a little bit east of Broadway downtown, which runs north and south, is the Black River. So where we have Black River Landing, and they've got 5 permanent pavilion structures there that are perfect for an event like this. If there's issues with, if you have rain, you've got plenty of coverage. I'm not worried about a tent blowing away or anything like that. These things aren't going anywhere. no power issues sometimes on the streets. Where can I plug in? And you have issues with that. So just moving down to Black River Landing, we're still bringing people to Lorain, still showcasing Lorain, but it's just an easier setup logistically. It looks great. It's friendly all the way around for the brewers, for the patrons, and for the people that are just coming to hang out. So we're really thrilled to be working with the Lorain Port Authority down at Black River Landing. And as far as each year, we try to add a little bit. Last year, we added cornhole games, boards.
Nice. Yeah.
We've always had music. We'll always have that. It's always original music. I'm a musician myself, so
nice.
I think that any given weekend you can go see a cover band anywhere.
Right.
I'd rather like we're turning people onto new tastes with the beer and sometimes the new food with some of the food trucks. It's in my mind like let's turn them on to some new music too.
Yeah,
so we always look
absolutely.
for original music to book and give these guys opportunities, because original bands, it's just a little bit tougher for them to to get a decent gig. And we take care of the bands, they get paid, they have a nice stage to play on, a nice PA system, so that's really important to us as well. And this year we're expanding, adding some more games. We're trying to turn this into a little bit more of an event. And the last thing we want is people thinking, well, I went last year, I don't need to go this year, I can skip it, because it ends up being the same old.
Right.
And we don't want that. So every year we're going to try to do
keep
at least, keep some new activities going and just keep it growing.
Yeah, absolutely. Who are some of the brewers that are coming this year? That if you're ready to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's always subject to change, and it's hard to remember off the top of my head. But I'll start with when we started this event. Franklin Brewing Company was the only brewer in Lorain County.
Right.
But now we've got us,
Avon.
Franklin. We've got Avon Brewing Company. We've got Basco Brewing Company and Railroad Brewing Company over there on 83.
It's amazing to see all this.
Yeah. So and I grew up in around this area. Graduated from North Ridgeville, so I'm a fan of Lorain County, and like the typical Cleveland Browns fan. I mean, fan of the underdog.
Absolutely.
And, there's always something going on in Cuyahoga County. So our thought is, it's kind of cool. I mean, as far as I know, we were the first beer event in Lorain County. Now there's a few more. There's a couple more this year that are popping up. So just fans of it. But guys like Great Lakes will be there. Fatheads is going to be there. Saucy
nice.
is going to be there this year. Seventh Son is a new one. They just signed up today. So
cool.
it's always changing. We're trying to find some of the smaller guys that can come out. And of course, the distributors bring their guys too. But probably within the next week, we're going to update the website. Right now, you can see the brewers that were there last year. We have a bigger list to update now, so we'll be putting that up in the next. So if you check brewfestwd.com, that's where you can see the list of
and
brewers.
then is that how people can go get tickets and all that stuff?
Yep, you can buy tickets right online. We're still looking for some volunteers, so you can do that online as well. Vendors, we could stand to add a few more vendors. We're done with food, so we've got the food all covered. So we are looking, any sort of, like if you're some sort of beer-centric vendor, you make widgets that are related to the beer.
Yeah.
You have T-shirts, that are beer-related or something like that. Of course, volunteers, we could always use volunteers. But, yeah, everything's online. And we're really active on our Facebook page, too, so,
like you said, it's great to see someone investing the time and the effort into Lorain County, because, like you said, a lot of the events are in Cuyahoga County. You got to kind of go out and do stuff, and there's so much to do in Lorain County that I think people forget that there is to do around here. And
I have to wonder how many people really have been to Black River Landing and know what an awesome venue that place is. I mean, it's doing well with our event. Rocket on the River he's on his third or fourth year out there, and his shows are doing well. Yeah. So the same day as our event, there's a dragon boat race. It's a little bit earlier in the day that kind of spills over into our event, but it's just some really great things going on out there. And to see 5 years later other things happening, like Speak of the Devil Cocktail Lounge is out there now. They used to, when we first started this, they were really just doing themed nights at various bars around town.
Oh, okay.
Starting at, I think they started at Club Copa, but they would bounce around in tonight's Speak of the Devil night. And their goal was always to have their own place, and they finally made that happen. And,
nice.
They ran into their naysayers too. People aren't going to come to Lorain for $10 cocktails. Well, guess what? They are. They're packed.
You build it, they will come.
Yeah, so that's doing well. The Broadway has a streetscape plan that's going to start to get worked on here in the near future. The Spitzer Hotel
Yeah.
That's got a development deal, and Cobblestone is going to be the hotel that's in there. So it's just good things happening.
Yeah.
And finally, all these years later, we're starting to see, the positive change in the area, and we're just going to keep working on it.
And I've actually heard rumors, and I don't know if this is true, that Brewdog from Columbus is looking for sites in Lorain County to open up a bar.
I have not heard that, but they are one of our brewers that are coming, and I'm going to have to mention that next time I talk to.
I don't remember where I heard
guys.
that. I don't like to normally throw out like rumors and stuff like that in case they're wrong.
That's a cool.
But
well,
I heard
things
maybe
change,
we can get the ball rolling at least.
Yeah.
Because I know I'd heard they were looking for places in Cleveland, but I think my dad mentioned it to me that something in Lorain County they were looking, and I was like, wow, that would be really cool.
I'm going to touch base with those guys.
But it's if it's true, it's like it's going back to what you say. It's growing so much around here that it's showing up on other people's maps now.
Yeah, I mean, you look at what's happening on West 25th in Cleveland. Why can't we do that on Broadway? And it's right there in the water.
It would be so
How cool would
amazing
that
to
be?
see. It would
Yeah,
be so cool.
That's what I envision. I look down Broadway and I just see potential. I see it, I feel it, and it's just that's why I do this event. We're everybody on Brewfest is a volunteer under the mainstream Lorain Growth Corp, and so this isn't a cash grab. No one's walking away with commissions or a big check at the end of the event. It all goes right back into working on next year's event. So
yeah, absolutely. And like you, I grew up here. I grew up down in LaGrange.
Oh, nice.
Out in the sticks, and it was always it's always nice to see people flocking to my home. Really, around here and seeing people happy to go out and do a lot more. And I applaud you guys, for being the forefront of that.
We have a lot of fun, and it's just something that we all believe in. That's why we continue to run it each year. It's so funny. You come up to the event and you get stressed out, and you're working, and the event's over, and you're like, man, it's over already? Well, good, because I need a break.
Yeah, I bet there's a few days of wind down after that.
Yeah, and then you have the post Brewfest depression. You're like,
yeah.
Well, now what do I do weekly?
Because we started all over again.
Yeah. So, what crazy ideas can Then sometimes the ideas I throw out there, the committee's looking at me like, what? Why do you want to do that? And how much do you want to spend?
Will it work? That's the main thing.
Right.
And anything else that I might have forgotten before we go here, it's August 11th at Black River Landing.
Saturday, August 11th.
Tickets
it's from
are
12 to 6. There's 3 levels of tickets. The main ticket, just to get into the event, is $25 in advance. That gets you a souvenir glass, not a piece of plastic. So
like an actual glass.
Be careful with it. It is a really, that's one of the things a lot of these events are doing now, plastic. I just don't like that. I want the glass. And, it's kind of like a little collector's thing. I mean, it just feels more substantial in your hand. So, that's a $25 ticket, souvenir glass, 15 4-ounce samples. If you're not a drinker, come on down anyways. It's $5. We call it the designated driver ticket. So if you're with someone that isn't necessarily a drinker, their ticket's only $5. But we do get a lot of people that aren't necessarily drinkers. They just come to have fun.
Yeah,
it's $5 to get in. You got food, you got live music, you got games this year. So why not? And then this is the first year that we've ever had a VIP ticket.
Oh, nice.
This year, the VIP ticket, it's $65 in advance. And that includes, we're going to have a VIP area that will be air-conditioned. It's in the little train station building that's out there. So it's air-conditioned, access to restrooms that the general public is not using. It'll be an American Apparel screen-printed T-shirt that's exclusive to VIPs.
Oh, nice.
We're not going to print anything else that looks like this shirt. The design in the shirt will be different than what people can buy in the main part of the event. That will include a Cubano sandwich from Genso, who is a cook over at Speak of the Devil. And it will include a silicone bracelet that we'll use to identify VIPs. And Franklin Brewing Company is going to brew an exclusive beer just for VIPs that will not be out in the event anywhere else. So I think that covers it all. That's the VIP. It's $65. So
that'll be worth it just to try that beer.
Yeah,
I really want to try that. I've heard so many good things about Franklin. Unfortunately, working retail, I can't get too many Saturdays off, and when I do, I got to get out there and try, because I've only heard good things coming out of Franklin.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, and Aaron and I started this. I was a guitar player in a band, and he was a bass player, and that's how our friendship started. And He's been a home brewer for many, many years, but he's a really intelligent guy and really passionate about what he does. And a couple years back, we added an assistant brewer too. And Mark is also he's an IT guy. So these guys are both really smart, and they really know. When they start brewing and they start concocting recipes, they're really good at what they do.
Nice.
So he's done a really great job with the flavors that he's brewing.
Nice. Howard, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your time. You guys, please go out and get your tickets for Brewfest Waterfront District at Black River Landing. It's August 11th. And thank you all for listening, and enjoy the rest of your night.